Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, presented by Tuckasegee Fly Shop with locations in Bryson City and Silva, North Carolina. Be sure to follow the crew on Facebook at Tuckasegee Fly Shop, Instagram at Tuck Fly Shop, and YouTube at Tuckasegee Fly Shop for all the latest information and instructional videos. Be sure to visit tuckflyshop.com for all things fly fishing in Western North Carolina and beyond. Remember, the online shop is always open. I'm your host, Shannon, Big Mess Messer, joined by Bobby the Bearded Wonder Bennett and Coach Dale Diesel Collins.
48 sweet on 2.
Ready? Break.
There we go.
All right. Welcome back.
Off to the races.
Welcome back.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining us here today on the Tuckcast with a Splash of Bourbon. Appreciate you tuning in out there in podcast land, and for you folks watching on YouTube, we appreciate that.
Hey, you know, I got a little last thought from last week's show I wanted to tell y'all about.
Okay.
To add to it.
Okay.
It's one thing, it's pretty...
This is a way to make everybody listening today to go back to listen to that one if they didn't. That's brilliant.
And everything
He's
we've
a
been
genius.
doing
That's
is
why
like
I'm
tied in the last
marketing director. Hello.
Genius.
Genius. That
Well,
was a
so,
genius.
you know, you asked some question about, like, what was the best thing, greatest thing about it? And we're like, yeah, making money's pretty awesome, right? I mean...
Yes.
And when I was mowing my yard, and I was like, man, that sounded really greedy. Like,
Yeah.
that's not why we're doing this. Like, it is, obviously, we want to pay our bills and,
Right.
you know,
Right.
be able to support our families. But
Right.
it is so cool to see guests come back year after year, season after season.
Yeah.
And you get to know them like friends.
Yes.
You know, and that to me has been super, super cool to watch develop over 6 years.
Yeah.
So, and you know, 2020, you think about online, and some of them you may not see again. Maybe they got the COVID,
Yeah.
and maybe I know some did, and they recovered, and can't wait to get them back up here fishing again. So, but yeah, I mean, you think about folks through this.
Yeah. So relationships.
Yeah, that's it.
It's all
man.
about relationships. That's right. And it was to echo that point, those folks like you're talking about right there, when you folks had to make the decision on we've got to close for a month, whatever in there, and the people that I seen reaching out via the social media, contacting.
Mhm.
That was cool.
Yeah, we.
And it was because of relationships, like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So yeah. There we go.
And now on to this week's show.
There you go.
Right.
There we go. But anyway, so here we are back. We've got we can talk about some upcoming events that are coming up here pretty soon. We've got the Norvice Demo Days coming up October 17th. I believe we're going to do that from 10 till 4. Roughly be set up here, rocking and
Pretty
rolling.
much all day.
Look for more information coming out about that there.
It's a household thing.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I'll be here, obviously, good Lord willing. Braden Miller, Tim O'Neill, one of the owners of Norvice. For more information about Norvice, norvice.com. Take a look at that. But Norvice Demo Days come by. We will have a lot of the, the vices, the legacy vice, the dubbing bench. You'll get to see a lot of different techniques out there, so come by and see that. It's also, obviously, the late harvest is coming up October 1. Just remind everyone, they're not stocking the tuck until October the 8th and
That's
the
right.
12th up here, so be aware of
Ninth
that.
down in Bryson City.
9th down in BC, and then they're hitting some other waters sooner than that, but...
Back to the demo day real quick. Braden Miller.
Yeah, man.
If nobody has seen Braden Miller, met the kid before, he's a kid.
He's 14.
14, and he's been at the, he went to Texas, I think, show, and he's been at the Virginia fly fishing show every time we've been there, but amazing fly tire. So if you don't come for
Me.
any other reason than to see Bobby Bennett, then definitely come see Braden and how he uses that Norvice.
Absolutely. The sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
And I've shared that with him. He's got the sky's the limit, and good support at home. Kudos to his parents for letting him do that and traveling and encouraging it, because that's a lot.
It is, yeah.
The travel where he's traveling, that's a lot.
I'll try to catch up to you, Shannon. You keep getting ahead of me, and I keep bringing you back. I'll try to keep up with the rest of the show from now on.
He has brought you back twice.
Oh,
last
I was
week.
Like, what the heck
Last
are you
week,
talking
yeah.
about?
And
here,
then
man?
back
All
to-
of a sudden,
Yeah.
you got me.
I'll keep up. I'm sorry.
He's been Braden likes to catch those snakeheads this time of year. some of those fly sees time, man, out there. So yeah, good streamer tire. He's better than good when it comes to streamer. So he does some neat stuff on the Norvise, which shows the versatility of it. It's just not for dry flies and nymphs. You can do saltwater stuff on it. There's big old alt hooks. We ought to have some alt hooks, so that stuff works there really good too. Stockings are coming up. Water temperatures are cooling down. So there you go.
Yeah, it's supposed to be cold this week.
I don't want to hear no guides whining about fish kills in the tuck because they ain't catching no fish.
Right. Yes.
That's what's happened the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
Not any of our guides.
40 degrees this weekend? 38?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be chilly.
Could be in the 30s. Could be in the 40s. Depends.
Might
on
be a hurricane. Might not.
Might not. Could be a great weekend of fishing here. So it could be setting up really well. I think fall setting up to going to be a really, really good fall. Good time to get out and, as you said, get out, get back into, start visiting with us for sure. So anyway, other than that, the Smokies is full open, of course, except for Campsite 82.
Is that Bone Valley? Is that all the way up at Bone Valley?
I think it is.
I saw those piles 84. So, but Weltridge to Cold Springs Gap
It's closed.
trail is closed.
Yes.
So I don't think you can get to Campsite 82.
Yeah.
And it's, it's the most remote place in the park. So there's going to be a lot of bear activity. It's plain and simple. They're trying to get away from Gatlinburg just like everybody else.
That's right. That's right. So you want to give us the details on that deal? Tell us what happened on that.
Well, Stacy actually saw this before even Bobby when he texted us this news story.
No, I saw it first.
I'll let you and Stacy have that out. But, she said it said bear found in Smokies like chewing on human remains.
Yes.
So the way I read that is, well, Smokey walking through the woods. Oh, here's something. I'm gonna start eating it. Oh, my bad. Didn't know that was a human. I just got shot. So there's a whole nother can of worms we could talk about. Is the Park Service policy on euthanizing bears. Like, we are the visiting team. As soon as we step foot across that boundary, and I heard this on John Boy and Billy, they're talking about sharks down in South Carolina. That one summer it was so bad, everybody getting bit by sharks. And it was only in South Carolina. Like, North Carolina sharks are plenty cool.
Yeah.
But he said, rest assured, once that toe hits the water, you are the visiting team.
That's right.
But that was so yeah, we're the visiting team in nature, right?
That's very true.
So this poor bear gets euthanized, and he's just trying to make a living.
Yeah.
But then all the clickbait starts on Facebook, and I walk in the shop, and Bobby says, hey,
Yeah.
did you hear about the bear attack?
Yeah. But I'm curious about the remains aspect of it.
Yeah, I am too.
I mean, I hadn't heard anything else. The information was slow to get up on the Smokies website because as soon as I got word about it, but prior to you doing anything about it, was let me go look on the National Park website. And there was nothing there. I went through all closures, all like back ends where it could have been.
WATE was on it, man. Knoxville.
Right. So I got in Knoxville, and it maybe they just hadn't had a chance to update it, whatever. They were still working on it there. But you hit the nail on the head. I've said it for years. We're guests in the world, and we have to appreciate that. But I'm like, was this remains someone who had a backcountry permit back there? Was it someone passing through? How long has it been?
Did somebody get COVID and just say, I'm going to go to the park and finish it out?
I mean, there's so many plausible things. It's kind of.
I've heard a lot of people do that with cancer. And they'll go to these national parks and they'll just like walk through the woods and like it's like a form of suicide.
Sure. Anything's possible right now. It's all plausible. I
don't understand this. Why? All right, Hazel Creek is as North Carolina as Lexington Barbecue. I mean, it is in North Carolina.
Right.
Why is everything going through Knoxville?
WLOS doesn't come out here.
No, they got Rex Hodge, and that's it. They got one reporter that's semi-retired that covers the entire west of Buncombe County.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's serious. Like,
Right.
it's the Knox County coroner. It's so stuff that's. I mean, they got to come to Bryson City to get there.
You think it's because the park headquarters is in Tennessee? And maybe that's how it gets listed as being that the headquarters.
And they may be using the University of Tennessee for the forensics aspect.
But University of Tennessee uses Western Carolina University.
Right, they do the bone form.
Yeah.
the
body farm.
That too. Close enough for horse using hand grenades at that point, right? I mean, seriously.
I would say it's probably because the park's address is Tennessee.
I would kind of think
Bet
that
you
too.
that's why.
Yeah.
But what about? I mean, they're using Knox County law enforcement.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're not. I mean, they're not even using Sevier County.
I don't know.
I just. It's obviously. I mean, we can get some conspiracies going here,
I
but
was going to say, do we smell a conspiracy there?
I think it's all right. The control of information is power, is it not?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this comes down to. And they obviously don't trust the small town folks over here that
Oh my,
get it done for us every day.
got you.
Shut our business down 3 times this summer.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So anyway, for you folks that haven't figured out yet, we're talking about the bear. The bear got put down.
Sometimes the bear gets you.
sometimes
you get the bear.
Well, is it sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield, and
But as of now, they don't know how the person died.
that's right. And we don't know.
It wasn't from the bear,
and we don't know
That's-
if it was a
they're-
person.
right?
I mean, if
it
it's
wasn't.
like a full body.
Yeah, it just
or-
said remains.
It said remains, so we don't know. This is the great debate here, man. I tell you, or it's up for.
What came first, the chicken or the egg? So what came first?
That's what we're saying. We don't know. It's
The
like the
body-
mystery last year with the two
body of the
guys. You know,
bear.
the one guy over in the
Oh, they were
Tennessee
digging
side,
ginseng?
They were illegally digging ginseng. The guy he dies of medical issues,
That
and
was
the
a
bear
meth deal going
they're
back
like,
too.
chomp, 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 right? I mean, it could be plausible there. So, yeah.
Did I was watching this show on Disney Plus with the kids.
Yeah.
It was the Bears of Yellowstone.
Yeah.
From the '60s,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to have bleachers set up in Yellowstone
Oh, it's a different
for
one.
you to watch the Bears.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was just this big show, and the Bears, you know, they'd show up, right? It's like cue the Bears, and they come in. And it was a story. They followed this mama and her cubs, and they go through the process of family, you know, getting out and feeding the cubs some marshmallows. Cubs jump in the camping trailer.
Yes.
Owners don't know it. Cubs get taken away. Mama's walking all over Roosevelt Lodge or whatever it's called out there, looking for the babies. Well, Mama's a problem bear now.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. What they used to do to problem bears in Yellowstone is they would paint their face yellow.
Really?
Wow.
So they'd have them in the, you know, they'd have them crated or whatever,
Right.
and they had yellow paint, and they'd paint their face yellow. So if they got caught again,
They knew.
it was euthanasia time.
Yeah.
And that's and so this mama bears is trying. I mean, so it's
Sure.
kind of like a,
Yeah.
I guess, environmentalist movie ahead of their time.
Right.
But it was like Walt Disney was in it, and
Well, you think about it, though.
go watch it. It's interesting. It's
The people-
comical too. The kids love it.
Oh yeah, I mean
That bear was driving the boat around the Lewis Lake. It was amazing.
You know, the people feeding a bear is an issue. People approaching the black bears over at Cates Cove. Any of the animals out there, you're supposed to just leave them alone. Let's say that though, you know, your black bears typically do not bother humans. Usually, it comes from human error. Let's talk about that.
Snickers bar
getting
in
too
your-
close. Snickers, strawberry shampoos. I mean, just all things like
Is
that.
that what you use?
But
Strawberry
Lord,
shampoo? He seems to know about it, didn't he? I've never had strawberry shampoo.
I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either.
No wonder you carry bear spray.
That's what he puts on that beard.
I use peach. I use peach. Very close. to
Bobby
the
uses
Georgia.
beech nut.
And
Beech nut and saddlewood.
you know, getting in between, you know, mama and some cubs. I've seen some behavior. I've seen people with the camera coming out and seeing, okay, here's her walking up to a bear to try to get that close-up shot.
Yeah.
That's when things go south most of the time. Fortunately, at these backcountry sites like 82 and 47 and so on and so forth, you have cables that you probably
47 doesn't exist.
that you store your. I just made up a number that
That was the wrong number to put out there.
But you store your food. You know, you put it up on there in the cable, and obviously, I mean, it's just doing the right thing. And those are things we want to stress for you to do. We get a lot of folks who come through Bryson City that are going to Deep Creek, to some backcountry sites and other places like that, or they call about Hazel Creek. You've got to do the things. Make sure that you got your food stored properly. You know, put it in bags, seal it, put it up on the cable that they've provided for you.
Yeah.
I think Friends of the Smokies actually raised the money for that and put those in. It's a nice
So
system,
did
man.
the Works Project Administration, the CCC camps, did a lot of that stuff.
So it's some neat stuff.
Great
to
Depression.
take advantage to get to do that, and
Yeah.
you'll be fine. And carry some bear spray. carry bear spray.
But John Doe wish he would have had some of that.
Yeah, the truth, I don't know, man.
What had a call this week? Well, yeah, yesterday
Right.
about Hazel Creek guy going out there.
Yeah.
This weekend,
Yeah.
hurricane coming through. He wondered, hey, should I even bother? I was like, man, I told him straight. I was like, dude, I don't know what the weather's going to do. The weather forecast has changed 8 times since we talked yesterday morning. We're not even in the cone of possibility for the storm now. So who knows what we're going to actually get? But just had this afternoon another email, a guy coming from Oregon to go in there in October.
Wow.
And so the other thing you got to watch out going out there in Hazel Creek, as I explained to this guy in an email, is the lake levels.
Yes.
I mean, they've dropped Fontana since in a week, in one day. I was out there yesterday, Finger Lake. They've already dropped it, I bet, 10 feet.
Oh, really?
It's come down quick.
Yeah, they start the day after Labor Day. They usually start
Gotcha.
dropping it.
And then right now, too.
So that makes it tough to get back in.
That's right, because of the way that it goes in through there, up that channel, back up in there. So when you park your boat, or if you get a shuttle, you've got to go up that embankment to get up through there, which can be.
I think Steve told us that time it adds like 2 miles when you can't get all the way back in there.
Yeah, depending on how low the lake is.
Yeah, because it'll drop way. I mean, you can get.
So you can forget about getting to the sawdust
If
pile
if it's far enough back, which would be like end of October, probably early November, you can't even. There's not like a spot to tie your boat to because the trees are so far up the bank.
Absolutely.
Like it's that type of thing.
Yeah, you get down until you really see
All it is rock and mud.
It's like
why do they drop the lake?
I've always heard it was just for spring runoff.
I don't know.
I'd heard somebody told me, maybe it sounds like a Dennis White thing, that it is to help out with flows on the Mississippi.
I think I'd heard that.
So all this water goes to the Mississippi.
Maybe I'd heard that from
Little Tennessee.
But why do they drop it in the winter?
To help out with the flows.
Does it not go to Ohio after?
It goes to Ohio. It goes all the way
Yeah,
to
it hits the Ohio and then goes.
And then goes to the Mississippi, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a crazy meandering track.
Absolutely.
I wonder how long it takes it to get to the Gulf.
You put a rubber ducky in and
I guess.
Put a little
No, but I'm wondering,
little beacon.
why don't they drop it in the summer to help the flows? When there might be drought conditions.
Well, you got snow melt that keeps a lot of things going.
See, that's what I'm. It's like is the snow melt from Yellowstone and all that part of it, like the whole.
All that snow that melts out of the Dakotas and
everything.
Right.
I think the entire state of Minnesota is white in the winter, like just covered in snow. That's what I think. Like, man, it's so cold up there. 50 below 0.
But if you think it, right, I see what you're saying.
So all the groundwater's froze up.
Right.
But if they drop it all, say it's all. This is a great conversation because it's one of those things. By the end of October, this thing's bottomed out. Like they're not giving any more
60
water.
60 feet, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, what are they going to do for November, December, January, and February when they need water in the Mississippi? You see, it's like that one drop's not a lot of water really in the grand scheme of
flows
things.
Of everything. Like they're putting out as much water as is coming in.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're doing that now if it's full pond.
Well, but they have it between Memorial Day and Labor Day. Only when we've gotten big storms have they released water over the summer.
Yeah, but
and so
they still got to maintain the level. Like if they never did groundwater, think about it: Nolan Creek, Forney Creek, Hazel Creek, they're all still flowing in.
Right.
They've got to release that much to keep it from getting too high on the dam.
I don't know.
But my point is, if they drop it 60 feet, that's 60 feet of water.
That water goes somewhere.
It does. But what I'm saying is, once it's all the way at 60 feet down, what do they do for the next 4 months of winter? There's no more water to give other than what's flowing into the lake.
Well, but that's when we get our big rain systems too.
It's almost like water in, water out is what it is.
My whole point is I don't buy that it helps with the flows on the Mississippi for that little bit of time.
I ain't trying to sell it. That's just what I heard.
That's where I'm like confused about it.
So if you're out there and
I think the water level of the Gulf of Mexico should go up because of this.
You need to email us info@tuckflyshop.com.
I would like to know. I would like to know.
Hydrology students out there.
Absolutely. That would be great. They're currently dumping water up here because of
stuff coming in.
Impending potential. And they're doing that on Nantahala and all around. Of course, that's going into Fontana, which is then controlled by the Tennessee Valley Authority. And then I guess it's just going on out.
But it's like if we're helping the Mississippi or the Ohio or the Tennessee even, because it's used for some barge traffic, why don't they dump Santila? Like, why is Fontana the only one that gets dumped?
I don't know, do they? I don't know.
No, they don't. Santilla stays
It's
full.
so shallow.
It stays full pond
Gotcha.
year round.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe they only make nuclear weapons in the winter. They need electricity.
We need to talk to somebody.
I mean, it really is.
The Army Corps engineer. Who's out there?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things we could talk to one of those guys about. Let's talk about gremlins in the bank. And I'm not talking about the boogers. I'm talking about the cars.
No, man. I mean, it's just.
What are you doing over there?
I got a cough.
That's a good point, though. You know, the water. But of course, in the wintertime, you don't have all the vegetation sucking up the water. So typically, obviously, our creeks and stuff, the water flow goes up.
Mm-hmm.
Is that offsetting?
Well,
I don't know.
There was back in the February 2013, we had 18 inches in one weekend. That's where I got that. Dennis, the water level of the lake rose 60 feet in one weekend. So he had the formula. Bob, you may know it too. What it takes to raise Fontana Lake by 1 inch.
Yeah, I have no idea.
How many gallons of water that is?
It depends on where it's at in the pond, really, because it's a V shape.
And I would think it would be the time of the year too,
Oh, that's good.
based upon.
Yeah.
Golly, man.
The higher it gets, the more water it'll take to keep filling it.
And now we got to get Stacy in here with some calculus.
Yeah.
Man, just don't do that math that we were doing earlier with Bobby.
That's a good riddle. We should put that up
was
to
a riddle.
everybody.
That was a riddle. Don't do that, man.
Somebody else
yeah.
just pulled on the door.
Yeah,
I'm glad Shannon didn't pull out his
because I'm Big Mess. Big Mess is here.
bang bang.
They want some autographs. Big.
What were you checking for before?
Checking for what?
We got to tell. So we had the door locked because we're starting the podcast, and somebody pulled on the door. We're closed. We're not. And you know how you walk up and you pull on the door, and it's like, oh, they're closed. Well, as soon as they did that, Shannon started like reaching for his pocket, like he was looking for his
Well,
pistol.
man.
The keys. My keys right here. The keys
It's
are in
Clint
the
Eastwood
door.
over here,
I
man.
could like.
Well, no, man, because I popped that little air thing from the shipping,
Dude,
and you were like jumpy.
I was doing the closing duties at that time. You don't shoot a gun while someone's doing that.
I didn't shoot a gun.
But it sounded like it. Let me
Man.
find you counting the money one day and see what happened.
Oh.
It's called an air horn.
Bobby don't let me count.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
Now I know why the door's open if you come in behind Dale. Then. I got you. Boy, that's also watch out for bees this time of year too.
What was that?
Well, the bees are bad. The yellow
The
jackets
bees are
are bad.
bad this time. We were talking about the bears. We kind of got off course there. It's all good stuff though.
One
but bees.
flew in on me at the drive-through at Dunkin' the other
Dude,
day.
watch out for the bees.
I bet everybody was freaking. What's that guy doing?
I was trying to hand this poor guy my debit card. I'm like, oh, you know.
I actually had the same thing. I think it was a bee. It was a guy at the stoplight down here by Nantahala, and he was in front of me. And he had like a rag, and you could see him. He was
just waylaying on the steering wheel.
I don't know what he was trying to hit.
Oh
Might have
man.
been just some good hairbands.
It was great, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, so bees, snakes, all that kind of stuff like that. Last
Yeah.
year I seen a rattlesnake that time of year.
That rattlesnake my neighbor had the other day.
Yeah.
Hey, that's something when they're on my property.
Yeah.
That's
Bobby is
that's
done working for the day.
no.
Yeah.
You were talking about the toe in the water, and
Yeah.
that ain't nature no more. When you come in with a rattlesnake,
Yeah. Yeah.
the rattlesnake don't belong on my property.
Yeah.
Neither does the copperhead.
So I think the point was, be safe when you're out there. Don't be stupid. We are guests in their home.
That's right.
Who knows about the water level in Fontana right now at this point? Because we really
Man,
don't
I
know.
hope we get some
I
responses
want to
on
know.
that.
About
I want to
that.
know.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people I think want to know.
Bees are bad this time of year, and watch out for snakes.
What else is there?
The weather can be anything. 'Cause
Waterfalls are slick.
That's right. Waterfalls are slick. He got to make two. You know, assume
The
everything.
water's wet.
Assumes everything's a fishing tool proven
That's right.
otherwise, and hook sets are free. Right? We're covering it. I mean, man, this is one heck of a episode. Awesome.
And then how many flies are we going to order?
That falls into like what we were talking about last week. Now Bobby's going backward about the ownership aspect of it there too, man. Absolutely. But yeah, certainly do hit us up. We would love to know that. And if you're local and you're
I bet somebody in Graham
Good old
County
Jerry
knows.
DeWeese knows.
I'd get them on here and let's pick their brain about this stuff, educate us on
We
it.
should have Jerry on here.
Yeah, it
You
would.
know, let's find that stuff out because that's important information.
He'd at least know North Carolina side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would think maybe flood control.
Well, I was
You
thinking
know,
about that too.
you know.
Because like in that example,
Mhm.
the lake came up 18 inches in that one weekend storm. Like, if it had been full pond and we got that thing, they'd have been having to open all.
Well, they'd have
it'd
dumped
been
it.
like Nashville that summer.
They'd have dumped it beforehand. Well, it's just like right now. I mean, say we had a hurricane a month ago that came through here. They'd have dumped Fontana to account for that weather system.
Yes.
So that's where I'm still like,
I mean, that water, because if we're dumping water and the weather system is coming through the Gulf and they're already getting that water, this water is eventually going to make it down there to them. And if it's already soaked and flooded, we're just dumping water right back on top of it, right? In theory, am I right?
I am curious how long it takes for the water from Fontana to get to the Gulf.
I mean, I don't know how long it takes.
I don't know if anybody has that figured, but that would be awesome to know.
If you're looking at it from like, okay,
Bill's
just an everyday person's thinking here, we're going to put more water on someone who's getting inundated with water.
Yeah.
How do I get Siri?
Here we go.
Hey Siri.
Hey Siri.
Why do they drop the water levels of Lake Fontana?
Here we go.
Let's see.
This might be good.
Here's what I found.
What did Siri find?
Low water levels cut season short.
That
was 2016.
That didn't help us.
The annual drawdown is upon us. TVA. Okay.
Here we go. Maybe.
Here we go. Maybe they'll tell us.
Yeah.
All we had to do was Google it.
Yeah. Oh, we
Siri.
asked Siri.
Yeah, Siri.
We asked Siri. We didn't Google it. Siri.
TVA strives to keep as much water in the reservoirs as possible. Oh, June 1st to Labor Day.
Oh, okay. There we go. Let's get clear on
But other responsibilities are also pressing. The River Forecast Center must maintain. Is this like the Hurricane Center down in the
that.
Keys?
So. Here we go, man.
The River Forecast Center. So the river across the entire, which begins in Knoxville, Tennessee, ends in Kentucky Reservoir in Paducah.
Paducah.
I like saying
Paducah. That's right, man.
Paducah.
Paducah.
We'll go Paducah.
I think there's a Tasty Freeze in Paducah, Kentucky. Man. There used to
It
be.
sounds like a
No, I'm
bodily
serious.
function, Paducah.
I wonder if we got any listeners in
I hope
Paducah.
not.
They might agree with
We're
you.
sorry,
Go
folks.
take a Paducah. There's no bourbon in this episode either, boys. All right. To preserve water quality, maintain aquatic life, support navigability. Say that fast. Preserve flood storage capacity, ensure there's enough water to meet industrial, municipal, and agricultural needs.
Mhm.
And yes, cool TVA's power plants, especially nuclear.
Nuclear.
So there it is.
So that didn't really help us at all.
What? It's saying it right there.
Yeah, but it doesn't tell us why they're just dumping.
Why are they only doing it for that certain time of year?
Right.
Like I get there,
It just-
part of it's
How
flood
does-
control,
how
but
does Fontana being drawn down in the wintertime benefit those other places?
that's
That's
or
what-
not benefit them. I
Right.
don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Preserve water quality, maintain aquatic life, support navigability, preserve flood storage capacity, and ensure there's enough water to meet industrial, municipal, and agricultural needs.
So you're
This
telling
is like
me,
fifth grade reading.
so you're telling me like in wintertime they don't have enough water down in the Delta.
I don't know. I mean, doesn't
I
Duke draws down Glenville, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
But they don't when there's not dam maintenance. They don't do Cedar Cliff and Bear. They stay full pond. So why does Glenville get dropped, but Bear and Cedar Cliff? You see, like that's what I'm confused about. If they need the water,
we'll get Jerry.
it's a very weird thing.
From this end, Jerry can probably help us. But I'm kind of
it
curious.
knows you're debating all this stuff.
You think so?
It says,
Oh, yeah, they're
at
spying.
any rate,
They're
Labor
spying.
Day traditionally.
They're spying.
It says at any rate. That's great. Turning point where boating season on the lakes is winding down, flood control becomes a focus heading into autumn.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about how many storms we get after Labor Day.
No,
So it's really just for flood control.
Agree.
Is
So,
what it sounded
so
like.
basically, we're going to dump the water, and we're going to get it to where the lake up here can hold water until it's potentially safe to release it down.
It sounds like to me they
But think about
if it wasn't for boat traffic and people complaining, they'd probably keep that lake low all year.
No, but think about how much money TVA just makes drawing this lake down.
Well, they don't necessarily make power. Sometimes they just spill.
They're just flowing water.
Yeah,
Do we just give away flies? No.
but if the power's not needed,
They sell it. They can
to
sell it to other. You could sell it to a.
this guy right here is an electrician. You can't send it everywhere.
No, there's we presented
you-
to a guy in Charlotte that talked about how
I mean, you got your distribution lines and your
you
high,
can sell
high
it to
transmission.
a Georgia Power. Or something.
But you're not always. I think to Bobby's point, you're not always when you're releasing water. You're not always generating power.
That's right.
You're not always making power.
Just like they sometimes just spill up here, and that's the reason people get mad that the tuck's not reading right. Because they say, it doesn't say generation.
Tommy.
Correct, Andy.
But they'll spill, not necessarily generate.
Exactly. So I think that's what we're saying. Just because water is going does not mean that they're making power to send to someone else. So in that case, absolutely, they're not making money.
It's very confusing. This is something we didn't even think we were going to talk about. And here we are
But it's
talking
great. I mean, but it is important, and these are some calls we get. We can't necessarily answer. We can't explain why Duke is doing something, let alone TVA. I can't even find a TVA generation or flow schedule for some of their waters, like that are west of here. So
I can see like the Weather Channel going, let's go now live to our River Forecast Center.
I mean, there's the lake. Look at that.
And then
What lake's that?
Dale's sitting over there at the desk.
That's not Fontana. That dam looks different.
That's Lake.
That's
Yeah.
Lake Appalachia.
Yeah. So just imagine.
It's an earthen dam.
So obviously they built all these dams, and we understand that. They said for flood
It's
control.
turned into
power.
the damn show.
Yeah. I'm just waiting on Eddie to walk in. Maybe that was him pulling on the door earlier. Save the neck for me, Clark. Somebody sent me a message last night about save the neck for me, Clark.
Shannon tied some good looking flies. They just look tasty. If I was a trout, I'd eat them up.
But just imagine if we didn't have, the Fontana Dam and that through there. Let's say we still had the national park.
That'd be that much more smallmouth water.
That'd be fun.
Oh,
Think how much, man, the little
there were some
Tennessee.
pictures that came
30 more
across
miles.
Facebook yesterday. Maybe Bob Gurnett shared. It was like 35 photos of like the Hazel Creek Valley where
Oh, yeah, I saw
before
that.
the flood,
Yeah.
before they flooded the lake, and it's just spectacular.
Yeah.
There's a guy down in Bryson City. He used to man the green cans where Allen is at now.
Yeah.
And we got to talking about fishing one day. The green cans is where you take your trash in Bryson City. So he told me his dad was in a fishing tournament. This was back before they flooded the lake. Caught a 23-inch native brook trout down there at the mouth of Hazel Creek in Little Tennessee.
It's taken 70 years for it to grow that big.
But that's
that was pre dam.
Right. So that was the fish. If you read all the antidotes and stuff there, that they were catching here prior to all the deforestation and all that stuff. That was a type of fishery that was here. Everything else has stunted its growth. Absolutely. That's how bad it's affected it there. But do you think that we would have as many floods? They sold it as a method of flood control too. I mean, that's all theories.
I don't know.
I mean, it says it is.
I know. I mean, they sold it that way, right? Power. Power. And
They said these masks can prevent COVID, but they can't stop smoke particles and ash.
Wow. There has been no bourbon drunk.
You
today.
know what? I have not thought about that, about the fires and people wearing the masks.
Oh, man.
They said do not wear the mask to prevent ash because they cannot prevent ash from getting in your lungs,
Oh, my heaven.
but they can prevent COVID.
I've never understood why a virus that must be so contagious they have to and I've not had this done, but they drive that dang old popsicle stick up to your brain, man.
It's in the air, but yet they gotta swipe your brain for a lab test.
This kind of goes under this conspiracy theory thing here, man.
Scandemic.
Scamdemic.
Scandemic.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Woo. Well, we went down that rabbit hole.
Well, what
That's
else?
good.
I don't know. They're playing football in Tennessee,
Yeah. No, absolutely. They are playing high school football. Idaho.
Georgia.
Yeah.
I saw Raven County playing some.
Yeah, there is. Hey, Raven County is a good program.
They looked like they were balling, buddy.
Raven County.
It was on like ESPN High School or something.
They have great facilities at Raven County.
It looked like it.
Have you not been there?
I've
Have you not
driven
been?
by it.
Have you not been? Dude, their campus is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Did y'all see the end of that high school game where they did all the laterals and the fumbles and the dude scored? It was 2.9 seconds. It was on Facebook. Yeah, oh yeah, it was one of those like last play, you're on like your 30 and you got to get, 70 yards. And they did the all over the place. And the last guy that touched the ball that actually ran it in, it like got fumbled and the other team tried to jump on it and it squirted out.
Oh,
he picked it up, man, and just
the holy roller.
Took it like 40 yards.
The high school version of the holy roller.
Yeah, everybody ran on the field.
Hey, I am thankful for COVID of this.
Yeah.
Not having all these football, ESPN is just constantly showing old, especially SEC games because they know people will watch those.
Yeah.
Well, I was watching LSU Georgia from 2013 maybe.
That's right.
Honey Badger.
Yeah.
Honey Badger.
Remember the Honey Badger,
Yeah.
Matthew?
Yeah, he's at the Chiefs.
He it was a fumble recovery or pick
Yeah.
six or something, and he ran it in and gave the football to the ref before he crossed the goal line.
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember
And they
that.
gave him a touchdown.
I do remember
And they
that.
gave him a touchdown.
There you go.
I'm talking, he ain't crossed the line yet. The ref's arms are up, and he has to pull his arms down to catch this football.
Yeah, it's because he's a nice guy. He was a nice guy, but he told the story too. He got in trouble. for
That's
that,
hilarious.
And he told the story. So
Anyways.
I watched some college football the other night. So Clemson at Wake and stuff. You know, some no fans. I think you made a comment on social media about that.
It's felt like the replacements, man. We've been replaced by 75 decibels.
You know, and yeah, that's bad. I don't know. I watched a couple of pro games this weekend. I didn't watch any of the.
They're letting fans though, aren't
pregame
they?
ceremonies.
There's
you know,
only
the
two
Chiefs,
stadiums
the
that did.
Chiefs did. What was
It
the
was
other
the
one? Dale?
Chiefs, and it was probably the Falcons, Tennessee or Georgia.
No, there was no. The Falcons.
Maybe
was
Florida.
empty.
Could have been
I
like
don't
Jacksonville or something.
Could have
Maybe.
been.
No, Georgia didn't have any at the time. Man, Minshew, the Jaguars.
Maybe it was the Bills because they were just like everybody can fit in the
Buffalo.
Bills stadium and stay 6
Buffalo.
feet apart.
No,
I don't know.
I didn't watch any of it.
Buffalo.
What I did.
I don't even know who
enjoy-
won what.
There's all this politics, right? One way or the other. We're not getting into it
Right.
before the game, right?
Yeah.
But it was nice that once that ball was kicked off,
They played football.
I didn't think about it one bit.
Yeah, they played football.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's why we watch sports.
That's right. My boys lost. That was a bad interference. PI, offensive PI.
Sounds like a
call.
Cowboys fan.
Oh, I am. Proud one too. By golly.
Said by a Washington Football Club fan.
But
If
hey,
that's a thing, I don't
good.
know.
Hey, good.
I don't
good-
know either.
good
I don't
for-
know if you can follow that to those two words with fan.
Good.
Washington Football fan.
Does that just show how bad the Eagles are?
Who?
The Eagles that
Who?
lost.
The Eagles who?
The Philadelphia Eagles that lost to the Washington Football Club.
Hey man.
Man,
Ron
what,
Rivera,
seriously,
Riverboat Ron.
guy had to
Ron
get
Rivera.
he had to get an IV at halftime.
The quarterback that
No, the coach because
Oh,
of the
Ron?
cancer. He took an IV at halftime.
He's got cancer?
Yes.
What's he
does.
got? What type of cancer? I didn't even know that.
He's been doing the treatments.
That's how much I've watched any type of sports in the
I
last
didn't know
month.
until the broadcast.
No, yeah, no, he's been dealing with this. I mean, he's had so much stuff happen in Washington since him taking that job up there. But wow, you know, they did. He took an IV at halftime.
I didn't know he had
I
cancer.
guess I
That
don't know if
sucks.
dude's strength to come back out.
I've always liked him. He seems like a
Cam
nice
Newton and
guy.
the Patriots win.
Yep.
Panthers and Bridgewater to lose.
I thought I thought that was the Panthers and the Raiders game was a good game on both sides. The games I seen, most of them were very cleanly played. Not a lot of penalties in it for the most part. I didn't see all
You
of
and I
them.
watched different games.
We probably watched different games. But the
Says the coach.
yeah, I do question kind of the offensive play at the end of the game for the Panthers. But other than that, you know, there was like several lead changes in that game, which either spoke really good of the offense or very poorly of the defense on both sides for both teams. There, Rams looked good beating my Cowboys. Their stadium, $5 billion at SoFi out there was impressive for sure. So I guess we'll get to see the
Can't wait to see the Raiders.
the
new
black
stadium.
hole, the black hole
Yeah.
coming up this coming week. So there we go.
That was a heartbreaker for Cincinnati.
I didn't see that.
So
I didn't
I
see
only
the
saw it
highlights
because
of it.
YouTube TV's.
That's
done,
like the story for the last 30 years, isn't it?
Oh, I know, right? And it's like they got
Say that again.
Burrows.
Cleveland, you know.
Heartbreaker for Cincinnati.
Man, I mean, you know,
How did he play?
Burrows didn't play. I mean, he 60 seconds. He's driving the field at the end of the game.
Really? Okay.
Throws a touchdown pass, but AJ Green pushed off, so they actually called offensive pass interference.
Was it a PI?
Yeah.
Okay.
He pushed off,
Okay.
but they never called not offensive.
Yeah.
And it was a curl route, so you kind of get away with that sometimes. But I don't know. I was disappointed to see him lose. You know, you hate to see referees get involved at the end of the game and determine the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were on like the 6-yard line.
But if it's a penalty, it's a penalty.
It is, but I mean, you can look to how many other there in the games I saw. Shannon, I saw a lot of offsides, which early in the season, that's the sloppiness that you see.
Mhm.
A lot of right tackles, especially.
Yes.
They're the fat ones.
Yeah.
They.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it was for the Cowboys. I mean, you know, and of course he has a history of jumping off sides, but
He went to the buffet twice.
But the Chiefs, the Chiefs and Texan game was pretty clean.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know. There might have been one penalty in the first half. and that was like a a false.
I heard they have electric whistles. I hadn't
And
seen it
then,
actually. Because
and
if they
then-
blow a whistle, it like spreads COVID.
Oh, my
and then,
gosh.
and then the Panthers Raiders game was a very clean game, and then of course I was watching my boys play.
Yeah.
And most of the penalties there were the false start variety, and then we had that PI at the end, which Ramsey did a great acting job. He is in LA, so there you go. Anyway, so we covered
Shout
that.
out to Akeem Davis Gaither,
Yeah.
number 59 for the Bengals. The kid that I coached for Thomasville and played at App State, was a standout star there, and got 3 solo. There it is.
Go Coach Dale.
He got 3 solo tackles for
There you go.
the
Absolutely.
Bengals there.
There you go.
I was
Nice.
proud of this. I saw him get burnt by a tight end though.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. A lot of injuries too this week. A lot of
yeah,
injuries this past
yeah.
week.
Well, that's
I
the
had
off
3.
season.
I had 3 on my team go down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
they're down.
Tough.
They're done. Bob's
Done.
over there just laughing. There we go.
Who's the Washington quarterback?
It's still it starts with an H. I can't remember his name now. Like I
wouldn't
said,
know.
I haven't kept up. It's
some new guy.
He came from. Oh, did they not play the guy from Ohio State?
No, he played it.
That's who I thought it was. Okay, I was about to say because he took over for Alex Smith when he got
Tyrod
injured.
Taylor?
No, it's
Tyrod's at the Chargers.
what is his name? Help me, Shannon. It starts with an H. His last name.
He's a big dude. I can't.
Yeah, he's big.
Hey Siri.
Hey. But
Now I
Alex
gotta Google
Smith,
it.
But Alex Smith is back though, which is cool, man. So you see that?
Yeah,
That's a
because
great
he
story.
had a
That's
really
a great
bad injury.
That's a
for the
great.
Washington
That's a great
Football
story there.
Haskins is
Yeah,
his
Dwayne
name.
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins.
I knew I'd think of
She
it.
doesn't know what sport.
She doesn't know what sport, so there you go. Well, cool.
All right, sorry.
Awesome. Well, good deal, man.
Take you back again, Shannon.
You took us back again. Well, cool beans, man. Well, there we go. So
All right.
The moral of this podcast is: watch out for bears.
All we did was ramble.
Watch out for snakes. Watch out for bees.
Watch out for floods.
Watch out for floods.
But if you don't watch out for floods, the TVA's got you.
Yeah, you got you. You're back. That's right. That's right.
That's right.
Would they help at Duke, maybe?
Just know that they draw that lake down
They
for
draw the lake
safety.
down, man, for safety.
You think
And-
TVA gives Duke a kickback? I mean, all that water's coming from
I
Duke,
don't know, man.
right?
How does that work?
How's that work?
I'm just saying.
I don't know.
It's like Duke. It's
More
like
theory.
TVA gets sloppy seconds from Duke.
Worth it.
I mean, technically, it's our water. It's North Carolina's water. It ain't Duke's
Lord
water.
help us. Wow.
Stay tuned to next week's episode.
I'm gonna do a bunch of research on this.
I mean, this is really.
I won't be here,
We're gonna
but
get Jerry in here.
And one of the things that I also said that we need to discuss, and maybe someone lives here as we close this bad boy out, about, obviously a lot of the wildfires happening out west, about managing forests and not managing forests, and which is maybe at a greater risk for fire. And
That's
things
right.
like
Governor
that.
of California said it. We have not managed our forest
Right.
right.
So I think that's another one that it does affect our wildlife at our fisheries and things like that too. So that's another one there. But if you do know some information, please email us. I'm dead
Yeah.
serious on that.
Yeah.
We would love to know. If you got some links, hit us up on them. We'd love to know. Anyway, I think we've covered the gamut there. as much
It was
as we
quick,
can.
guys.
It did, didn't it? It's time to go eat.
it is. I'm hungry. Zaxby's here. I come.
Oh yeah, it's Tuesday. Zaxby's not for Bobby.
I don't have my wife's. She's not here, so I don't have my ID. But I'm still going.
Bobby's fine.
I gotta go home and prep some vegan stuff.
Just tell him that you just seen Big Mess. I'll give you the free meal. There you go. Well, good deal. Anyway, all right. Everybody, thanks for listening to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon. Brought to you by Tuckasegee Fly Shop. Be sure to follow Tuck Fly Shop on all the major social media platforms for all the latest happenings and latest videos. Have a question or comment, send them to info@tuckflyshop.com or via snail mail at tuckflyshop, 530 West Main Street, Silva, North Carolina. Thanks for tuning in again, and we will see you next
We forgot the fishing
week.
report.
Oh, man, I'll get it later.
It's good.
All right, bye.